Welcome back to WWTA Gaming. Thank you for returning for another episode. I'm greatly appreciative. I don't want to waste any time. I really want to talk about a few things that are going on. One, yes, I'm still playing Grand Theft Auto Online, and I intend to play more Red Dead Redemption Online. That's the game plan. I'm just busy with it. I've got a few things I want to talk about. The first topic that I want to talk about is, oh my goodness. So I'm a new player to Grand Theft Auto Online, GTA 5 Online. I'm new to that, right? And so everybody that I bring this up to, they say, "Oh, you're late. The game's boring. There's nothing there. There's no point in playing it." And so I don't understand. Um, asking more questions and digging around, I find that one, most people didn't play much of the game. Two, the content creators kind of pretty much pave the way and show you the easiest, fastest, and all that, quote unquote, the meta way of doing things. And then, of course, there's glitches and modding. Now, I'm not sure how well the modding thing happens to be for online playing because eventually, when you get caught, you get kicked. But the glitches, that's just people exploiting a issue that's going to happen in any game, so there's no getting around that. It's a glitch waiting to be fixed. As far as though coming down to content creators and them explaining the fastest way. They do these things, and all games do this, and it just irritates me. I steer clear away from it because it takes away enjoyment from a video game. These people do guides, and usually there's two different types of guides. Let me say that. So there's a guide that helps you set up things and helps you get an understanding for a game. Those are greatly appreciated. Then there's the guide that pretty much gives you the meta way of doing something. Hey, if you want to make the most amount of money, do it this way. Do this, and this. Don't do that. Don't do that. Do this. And then people look for the shortcut or the easiest way of travel. Let travel. The path of less resistance. Most people tend to go that way. And so that helps contribute to games becoming stale and boring because once somebody shows you the cheat sheet, I'll say, then you follow the cheat sheet. The game's pretty much over for you. You know what I'm saying? And then another thing I would say is a lot GTA apparently is adding a lot of content. So most people I talk to say they ain't played the game in a long time. When I bring up things, they're like, "No, I don't know about that." And then they'll look at them like, "Oh yeah, that's some new stuff." And then they're aggravated with the game because I guess they're bored with it, right? Everybody knows, and this is something Rockstar could do. Everybody knows that apparently, if you want to make the most amount of money, you go do the Capriccio heist, right? You go do the Capriccio heist, whatever it's called. And that's what everybody does. And they get all the money and they buy everything, and then the game's boring. Like you hear people say, "Oh, I've got 22 million, man. I don't care. That game sucks." And it's like, but they did that one heist over and over again, and then that's all they played. I'll say that whereas I haven't scratched the surface. God, there's so much going on in that game. Whereas I haven't scratched the surface, I see tons of stuff I intend to do when I eventually get done doing other things, right? So I'm not by any means. I'm taking my time in the game. I set up the MC clubs things, the biker club. Then I got the counterfeit money. Then from there, I had to get my money together to get a club. From there, getting the club, I had to work around and get my money to get an office. Well, the office was free. I didn't have an issue with that. But from that, I had to get my money together to get a warehouse. And so that's where I am right now. I'm collecting money from doing the warehouse stuff, constantly making money from just keeping my club promoted high level. And then going back to my MC stuff like the counterfeit money, and then I'll dabble with the the keep my bar full so I can pick up the 20,000. So I'm literally taking my time and enjoying the game, and I suggest more people do that. I really think that a lot of YouTube content creators should really just kind of back away from doing those fast ways, exploits, and all that stuff. Like, I know it gets you clicks and views, but it destroys games. All games get destroyed from that. That meta stuff pushes people away, and I'll get long-winded, let me say. So when you play a game like Forza Motorsport or Forza Horizon, what you find is people want to do the meta car so they have the best chances of racing. They don't want to take the time to learn how the cars work, which is why you see in Horizon they added content to show people how to tune cars and the different classes and the different types. So they make that content to get you to work for yourself and not just keep going into the meta and finding out what everybody's using and reproducing that same thing and doing races. It's the worst. It's like a cheater sheet. It kind of takes the fun from games because nobody's using their imagination or doing what they think would be the coolest or the best thing. Like when you set up a car in those games, like instead of you testing the water to see if you can make your optimal performing car and see if you can win races with it, that doesn't happen. But that's the whole point of those type of car games, is to build a car, see if you can win races with it, and then test it on other racers out there to see how good your skills are. But we just wipe all that. We go straight to a meta. So that's why metas don't work in games in general. I'll elaborate more in another video because obviously there's a few more things I want to talk about in this video. Actually, there's pretty much one more thing I want to talk about. And this one thing ties to a lot of different things in one. So let me say this. I am an MMORPG guy. I originated with World of Warcraft. Then from there, I really moved into Elder Scrolls Online. I tried a few games. They sucked. I ended up in Elder Scrolls Online after I did the beta when it was first going through, when you're under NDA. I was actually in that game when it was under NDA. And I remember saying to myself, I've never seen a game do that. And anyways, and I stuck with it even after that because I really thought it was a great game. I played other games like Guild Wars and Final Fantasy, so the list goes on, but that's irrelevant. I just saw a patch update coming through, another downloadable content for Elder Scrolls Online. And so, first thing I want to say is, boring. Stop doing the same old thing, right? Elder Scrolls, ZeniMax, like you're doing the same thing over and over again. And this is what's sending people, you've lost a lot of players. And this is what sends them away. Another thing is the way, I know you guys got to make money, and I got an idea to help you guys make money. You're doing it, you're probably going about it in an old-fashioned way, and I think this is where Rockstar can help. And I wish more developers would look at other games and play other people's games and then see how they can implement some of those tools and technologies in those games into their own games. But I'm going to help elaborate because I love Elder Scrolls Online, and I just think it sucks. It's been sucking for a while because they keep repeating the same boring thing. So here we go. All right, so if any of you played Elder Scrolls Online, you'll already know it's an MMORPG. You create a character, you got a whole bunch of storylines and quests, tons of storyline and quests, tons of it. Content for weeks, months, and years, right? So tons of that stuff. You got PvP. Everybody loves PvP, right? You've got you got PvP. You got even events on the map, like world events on the map. So that's pretty cool. Great. That's the same old thing that MMORPGs do. Rinse, wash, repeat. Same thing. Nothing special. That has to end. Let's check out Rockstar. Let's figure out how to make this work. Now, so in Elder Scrolls, you have all these different businesses that you can go to, but you can't create them and run them yourself. You have housing, and it's very generic based. You can make things for houses, which is almost like a business, but it doesn't work as far as like an economy. So I'm saying at this point, Elder Scrolls Online, you should probably, ZeniMax, you should probably take a look at Rockstar's game GTA Online 5 Online and check out their economy, because you have everything lined up for a great economy. You just got to turn it over to the players. What do I mean by that? Let's imagine going into Citrusville. You have the horse vendor. Horse vendors in every major city, and what they do is they help train your horse up, right? So you could have a place where you have to buy horses. All right, so let's back. Let's back. All right. First thing with MMORPGs, it's always a story. Got you. Same old, same old. But not everybody wants to play the story. Here's where GTA comes in there. When you create the game, right? When you first go into create your character, yeah, you do the prologue, you get to understand what's going on in the game, and then you should be able to just back out and go into an online version of the game. Okay, what that means is you have, like GTA, you have a straight up single player online campaign game. You can play all that, and then you have an online version. This is where everything changes. In the online version, you can do whatever it is you please, whether it's playing story content or just playing the economy. Okay, what do you mean by just playing the economy? So as a horse vendor, you should be able to, one, breed horses. So you should be able to buy a piece of a part of the city or something in the city for where horses are bred, and where horses can be caught out in the wild and brought back and sold, which means that two things happen here. One, you can create the business. Two, you can pay people for them bringing horses to you, which is also a business for people that want to make money capturing horses if they like free roaming the world. Got it? This is just one idea, one of many. And this is why I say please go look at GTA Online and look at our Red Dead Redemption as well online. So with that, so imagine that now you breed horses, so people, you can sell horses, right? And you can sell horses to places in different towns, AI and everything else. You don't have to make it, I would not make it a person to person thing. You see what I'm saying? uh, Grand Theft Auto doesn't do that, and I think there's a good reason why, because it'd probably be a whole lot of programming and a big mess trying to keep up with all that stuff, right? Especially when it comes to pricing. So, you can do that and create that, and then you can deliver horses to different as missions in the game. You just turn it into missions, right? So you creating a horse vendor is a mission. Business is like, has missions attached to it. You can actually, you'll have to then go buy inventory and stock and stuff to help, like hay and stuff to feed your horses. You'll have to different things like breeding, trading, and all that stuff. You'll have to pay people to do stuff like that inside the game, which means that you'll have to go do missions to make money, and then you can have tons of events just like Grand Theft Auto does, where you have bonus events where you make bonus money, bonus reputation. And again, if I try to elaborate on all that, it'll be a freaking 3-day video. All I can say is, if any of you MMORPG players have never played Grand Theft Auto Online, I know it sounds crazy and ridiculous, but for economy, player housing, and all that stuff, that's where it's at. You guys want all this stuff out of MMORPGs, fantasy MMORPGs. They can do it if they just go look at Rockstar's games, Grand Theft Auto Online and Red Dead Redemption. They can create the business model. Some people don't want to play the story, right? So in the game, of course, you'll have missions, right? You have a whole mission selection screen where you can do your dungeons, you can do raids, and then you can break down into business missions, you know what I'm saying? And then you can break down into world free roam missions and all these things. It's a lot to go through if I really start trying to break down every possible example. For instance, they added cabbies, right? So you can do cab work in there, which is basically delivering people. So at the same time, you can create a business, right? Create a business or work a business as for instance, in Elder Scrolls Online, as a carriage delivery person, right? You can deliver people in a carriage, or you can deliver goods via carriage, and you can be secure. So if you create these things as businesses that you have to open, run, create, and do the jobs and stuff, and the same premise that Grand Theft Auto does it, like Rockstar does it, then you have opened up a whole new world. In MMORPGs, you're not doing that. I'm telling you, the genre is dead. It's dead. People still try to hang tight to those games, but it's the same old boring mess of nothing. It's over. It's nothing new. Same thing with World of Warcraft. It's the same thing over and over again. I mean, I don't care how many ways you guys try to hype it. It's the same thing. It's boring. It's the same thing over and over again, right? So I would say, please check out Grand Theft Auto Online. Don't look at it for the gameplay as much as it is for the comprehension of the different things that can be added and implemented into your MMORPGs. And then you can, approach the developers like, hey man, I mean, this is a pretty cool feature that you could probably implement into that game. Like, for instance, a real economy. a real economy where you can go get all your mats, right? You can go farm for your mats, you can buy mats from AI, you can sell these things to AI, you can have missions where you do this stuff, you can have to buy equipment and upgrades for whatever business, and the same thing for World of Warcraft. You see what I'm saying? World of Warcraft, Elder Scroll, all of them could implement the same stuff, and then you'll get tied up more in that than even having to keep up with story content. It's so much story in these games. It's ridiculous. You can stop any day now. Just work on economies, okay? Every MMORPG needs a real economy. Rockstar did it best. I'm gonna close with that because this will get long with it. Rockstar did it best. Look, man, I'm gonna be playing that game for a while, and I'm gonna have a lot more videos where I have to discuss stuff like this because I'm seeing where a lot of developers are failing. And even Rockstar, apparently they were failing for a while, but now they're back on the wagon and they're tightening the ship up. And I guess, great things. So, I mean, I hear that, okay, so Red Dead Redemption has the Rage 2 engine versus Grand Theft Auto has the Rage 1 is built on the Rage 1 system game engine. Then, of course, we also know that apparently Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming, so that means we're going to see a Grand Theft Auto 6 obviously online. So you'll see better visual graphics. But, a lot of this stuff can just be upgrading your engine and then moving stuff over. And a lot of times it can make your game play better if you quarantine it a lot. You know what I'm saying? So like make one map in this particular game and then have an extension and you can port over to that extension and play that side. Like, so for instance, we'll just use World of Warcraft. We'll say one part is the Pandaria map, and that's where all this stuff can transpire on if you're really into that type. And then you'll have a whole nother world like Draenor or something where that's a whole world of its own. And then you don't have to have so many different servers for players of the actual whole game. You could have servers for the cities, right? The big area maps and cities. And then people that want to play in that area have to port over to that server, which means they'll have to download that map content so they can play that world of stuff. And I say that to say this. So as you keep creating more content, each port will have its own content for it, which you can have in circulation. And that means that if somebody doesn't enjoy the world of Pandaria, and this is for World of Warcraft, if somebody doesn't enjoy the world of Pandaria, they might enjoy the world of Draenor or something like that. They'll immerse themselves in that world. You know what I'm saying? And so then you can build your games that way. And so then you can make your profits that way. And of course, there's more to it than that, but you have to start somewhere. And the biggest thing that I feel that most MMORPGs are missing is a actual game economy. All right, so long-winded. I'm sorry. This video now comes to its conclusion. I'll catch you all in the next episode.